Alright guys, I'm going to post this one, regardless if I want to post it or not, simply because I rein myself in on my politics a lot lately, simply because I think a lot of people don't actually want the truth or facts these days. And you're a bit too close for the comfort for most people. But anyway, I'm going to talk about an update for today. It will involve politics because everything at the moment is affecting me directly, and the same as most people on the planet, because we're having a major political shift. Today, obviously, there's an attempted assassination on Trump. What I found interesting on that was I knew quicker whether the guy was voting Republican or Democrat, the guy that was a sniper, than the condition of Donald Trump. I think that says enough about mainstream media than anything else. Just seen a bit about Bill Mah. Now, Bill Mah, go and have a look at it. I think he symbolises what's wrong with the left. In a nutshell, where he's mocking it, making a bit of a joke of it. Luckiest, Donald Trump, luckiest guy alive. Ha ha ha. Joe Biden's failing. Blah blah blah. What a vile individual. My first thoughts were, A, was he okay? But then when you find out there's other people being critically injured and someone else killed, that's what my concern was. It wasn't, oh my God, was it a Democrat shooter or not? It's irrelevant. Now, I know some of you guys are going to, no, it's not irrelevant now. Of course it isn't, because they made that the focal point. The reality is, when you look at the photographs of the guy, you can jump to conclusions straight away. It looks like he's quite a loner. He's probably got some stuff going on in his head, probably around sexuality as well as other things. He's obviously been coerced in some direction. I can't see this being a single person operation at all. I can see him being cherry picked, being a loner, etc. But I can't see it being a single horse race. I think there's been more going on. But I'll leave that part there for now. For me, I think that's been an own goal for the left, whether they want to admit they did it or not. I mean, Bill Mah was like, well, this isn't what leftists do. It's exactly what leftists do. It's exactly the problem with them. The majority of people are peaceful, easygoing, etc. If you look at men that go their own way, you look at passport bros, you look at the demise of marriage in the West, all of this is caused by the left. But what is the reaction from the males on all of this? They get divorced, they get financially robbed, to the grave, even their pensions, depending on what countries you're in. So from that point of view, they have to put up and shut up. Men that go their own way have recognised it's not worth a headache to get into relationships with a lot of people these days. It's not financially and emotionally, it's painful. Passport bros, same. Hey, do you want to be a leftist? Do you want to be a feminist? Do you want Me Too? You want all this stuff? You go there. I'm going off to the east. Guys are easygoing. Guys are generally after an easier life. They take the brunt as a man generally anyway. What do I mean? Well, if you're an older brother, if you're a father, if you have problems within your family with others, you're often there to look after the group and help out and push ahead. You end up carrying the burden of a lot through life. If you're a father, trying to maintain a traditional marriage now, it's far worse than it's ever been, because you're expected to earn 2 wages now because of the state we've allowed the economies to get in. And it's not for me and you that have caused this. Everything's become capitalist greed. And I'm not a socialist, but what I mean is everything becomes led by finance. It's not about having a house, it's about having 5 and renting 4 out, and everything's about generating the revenue off it. Everything has dragged us down. Now, one of the key things I will say about men going their own way, passport bros, refocusing your life as a guy on yourself, and women can do exactly the same, is you can find your own paths out of all this mess. The big shifts in corporate world at the moment, which are, whether it's Nike, Disney World, or whatever these twats are up to at the minute, that will come to a head at some point. It's unsustainable. Financially, it's unsustainable for these. I mean, it's a bit like Netflix. Cancel your subscription. Don't buy their stuff. Move away from the stuff that is driving a woke agenda or a political agenda in a negative way. What do I mean? Well, political bias is one thing. If I tell you I'm right or left, I've told you what my opinions are likely to be. But when I report the news or whatever, it's what I'm seeing. It may inject with some of my perspective, but I'm not trying to manipulate it. It's what I see. Our mainstream media doesn't do that anymore. They're politically biased all the way through. I watched the reporting around Trump, and people are seeing straight through it now. It's peculiar. Because the thing is with the shooter, they're on about him being registered as a Republican, but it denoted to some Democratic group. But you listen to some of the media, they'll say he was Republican and he voted to some organisation, not mention it as a Democratic organisation. The reason this is relevant, because like I said, I mean, that was weird that these were the first things that were being pulled out is Republican or Democrat. Not what's the full motivation, we hardly know this guy, we need to get more information first. It's literally, who's he voting for? He's not voting for anybody. So he got shot. We're in a particular spot there where I think whoever's behind this have just guaranteed Trump the election. And my view on politics is very simple. Give them 6 months. With most people, that's what I say, give them 6 months. So, whoever got in, give them 6 months. Biden's already finished. Not because I dislike the guy, I know very little beyond his bumblings. And then the media trying to cover up for it. I mean, that just makes it cringeworthy. So I do expect Trump to be pushing for a win now. It's going to be very hard for the other side to do anything about it. Adding to that though, I just don't like the way the left react on this stuff. And I do recommend looking at it because, as you can see, I'm being fairly fair on this. I'm not saying look at this, look at that. The only one I said, Bill Mah, because the guy's supposed to be a comedian or whatever he is in America. He should know better. When somebody has an attempted assassination, there is a level of decorum that's expected by anybody. Not going, oh, you've just guaranteed in the election. Do not like that guy at all now. I was on the fence a little bit with him before, because I've seen the odd bits and pieces with him, and thought, I'm not sure where his head is. Not politically, I don't even think about the politics behind it. It was where his logic was, but now it's pretty prevalent that he's very far left. But anyway, moving on. Then we've got the UK, we've got some major changes. Got the Labour government. I'm expecting to feel that soon, because financially I'll be hit with new taxes, I can guarantee it. UK is already in a world of pain. The Conservatives, for me, sat dormant since the Brexit. They robbed us blind with the PPE and all the vaccine stuff. But at the same time, they didn't do what traditional Conservatives do, which is actually look to rebuild the economy. They actually sat more like a Blairite party than anything else. And we've just inherited a Blairite party. So not expecting anything positive out of the Labour government. They're definitely not going to stop the boats. In fact, they're probably encouraging it more. I think they've actually changed some of the stuff already around people's asylum pleas, etc. So we've got some stuff going on there, building on green belts for housing. Got some of the strangest individuals we'll ever see in a party running the country. But as I say, I'll even give them 6 months. Starmer I give 4. I don't think he'll have 6. I think he's already, his whole manifesto piece and whatever has been put together by others, and he's just doing as he's told. But I don't think he'll be able to keep the position. I think he'll be ousted probably within 6 months. Well, 4 to 6 months. Although there was some positive changes. John, about the minimum wage being the same for everybody. Now, if I was a school leaver, I'd say that's a great idea. If it was a business owner, I'd say it's a stupid idea. Why is that? Because school leavers have got a habit of being late, a habit of needing a lot of training and time spent on them. So I think the minimum wage piece needed to have a deeper thought to it rather than trying to get everyone just paid the same. But we'll see how that pans out. Being able to take your employer to a tribunal, another one that's coming up. We're about to take your employer to a tribunal from day one. That'll be an interesting one. At the moment it's over 2 years. If you look at ACAS or any of the organisations in the UK, your case is generally weak till you pass 2 years employment. The same as I think it costs about £3,000 to take them to a tribunal, £3,000. So it's expensive. You've got to have 2 years service, and now you're going to be able to do it at day one. Now, rightly or wrongly, I believe it used to be pretty much free to go to a tribunal, and I think the 2 years service was still there, but I think you're now going to flood the market with false cases. And I will say, from my perspective, that may sound, well, that's what you think. Well, the way it is at the moment, I know a lot of companies have managed to be abusive to employees and get away with it because they only last 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, because a lot of the time, unless there's a solid case there, your unions won't even look at it. Without moving down from a 2 years to being able to build cases quite quickly, in theory you may get some people with the same job role. You know, say if 6 people have had the same job within 18 months, they may be able to put it together as some sort of class action, because you can demonstrate it's a culture. We'll see how it goes. But I do think it's another one that's going to hit businesses. And I've got to admit, from my perspective, I agree with being able to take people to a tribunal if a business has been unfairly treating you, abusive, or something that is outside your job. I do agree with it. We're also looking at where they can't phone, email or anything else outside your contracted working hours. That'll be an interesting one, because I'm sure a lot of companies have still got policies, you know, especially at my level, where they can bother whenever they feel like it. But we'll see how a lot of that stands up legally, because I'm sure there's a few challenges coming up. I don't think they're going to fix the economy. I haven't seen anything that's actually saying how they're going to repair the damage that's been done to the economy in the UK. Kissing the butt cheeks of Europe may be Starmer's big objective, but that will involve the freedom of movement. This could make it very interesting, because I know from my time working up in the Birmingham area, the majority of the Somalians there moved to the UK on European passports, and they moved for the benefit system, because they're quite open and friendly telling you that's exactly why they moved there. Why wouldn't you? If you've got no intention of working, why wouldn't you? But I would also say that many of the educated people out there do want to work, and they understand the same issues that we have, because they've had the same issues. I mean, I've worked in the Middle East, for example. There is what they call issations. I'm going to keep the countries out of it. But every year, if you've got loads of expats doing the work, the government wants you to increase your employment of locals by about 10% every year. So you're reducing your offshore staff and increasing your local staff. The problem you've got, a lot of them don't want to work. I mean, if you take into account, I'm a king somewhere, I make a royal decree, I'll give you a free house, I'll give you some land, and I'll give you an allowance of £1,000 a month. Do you want to go to work? Not really, because that wasn't part of the bargain. Going to work is actually to make the country sustainable once the oil goes. So these countries know full well what it is like with a lot of these people. They don't want to work. There's no incentive to work, and we encourage them to head west. Now, I flip the coin as well with the best staff in the world. So the ones that do have valid visas, your nurses, your doctors, surgeons, maybe dentists. I'm not sure about dentists these days, because we did get an influx from Poland previously that probably have all been told to go home. But my view is those people are better served in their own countries. It's not to throw them out, it's just the fact is, if you've got your top skin surgeons and you invest as a country in creating a school to teach people these skills that are badly needed, and every time they qualify, they go overseas, we're damaging those countries. We're not helping them at all. We're robbing them of their best and brightest. And this is where you've got to separate the two. The guys that are just turning up and what they call, was it milling? Milling's the term now, or they're just hanging around. Can't do anything, can't work, can't do anything. And then you've got your ones that actually can work and whatever, which should actually be better off in their own countries, and we should be working harder to make our best and brightest capable of doing these jobs that are currently being fulfilled by others. Big problems with nanny states. So what's the benefit of all these influx of people? My personal view is, I look at my time in the Philippines, I look at my time in other places. You're creating tier systems. The thing with the tier systems is you'll have people outside the system that can operate and work illegally. And it's been going on for a long time in the UK. People just don't want to talk about it. You know, like with restaurants, where you have to get your Bangladeshi chef specifically brought in. Why is that? Because we're only paying £3 an hour. Those types of things that go on. The illegals working in food factories and other stuff that goes on. It's been a constant thread. My view on how to fix that is the same as the Middle East is doing. You've got to employ more of the local population. At that point, you start forcing people out that shouldn't be there. And if you're a globalist, which is what a lot of this is around, that actually works quite well, because less people travel then. Bringing down our CO2 allegedly. But will it happen? No, I don't think so. I think what you're just going to end up is a mess. I think UK is going to tax itself to death. Paris, God knows what's going on with that place now. Left, if they think they're losing, they burn Paris. If they win, they burn Paris. These are the sort of guys you want to be voting with, isn't it? I suspect what you're going to see in France now is the current government will last 6 months, because it's not a real government. It's a fractured, splintered group of people with splintered ideals. As such, once they start trying to do something, they'll begin blocking each other, and then it'll become more and more fractured till the whole thing goes. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm trying to think. I'm not sure if it was 1950 or 1955 maybe. Charles de Gaulle. If you know who de Gaulle is, he was quite famous in France. But what you had there is he recognised back in those days, 1950s, 40s, 30s, whatever, that the government was splintered. Well, it'll probably be the end of World War II going onwards. Because you can't get people to vote on anything. That's why you create this Prime Minister, President position that has a bit of an overarch, that can steer the country in a direction and try and pull enough to actually make a decision. When you start splintering it in a parliament where nobody ever decides anything, nothing happens. You have constantly failed governments, you have constant failure, disapproval, bad economies, etc, etc. I think that's where France has just took itself back to, because it was de Gaulle that actually made that change to make it more of a presidential position that could actually steer the country. The way it's gone now, you've got fractured groups that are all going to go, I'm in charge, I'm in charge, I'm in charge. None of them are in charge, because none of them can actually agree on anything. And that's where that's going, in my opinion. Weird thing is, I'm just looking at the chaos that we're ensuing everywhere, and just thinking, we've got to step back a little bit, not let any of this get under our skin, not let any of this bother us, because there's so much uncertainty now. Things can swing either way, or something random happen, that don't worry about it. Everyone's going to be riling each other up. I mean, that's the whole point of what's happened to Trump. That guy didn't just randomly do that, and it's a bit weird how he knew where to go. Had a half decent shot, so the 20-year-old's obviously been practicing somewhere. But we'll move off Trump, move forward. The whole key of everything is just to recognise where you are today, and right now, this is all around us. We just need to let the dust settle, not get wound up by it. The video I did on about management and how narcissism's a big problem, and how there's a lot of bad bosses, bad employees and that out there. The reason I originally did that was around emotional intelligence, because one of the things I want to say, guys, if you start going down the route of emotional intelligence, you start to understand these people. Because being empathetic to people is not the same as sympathy, and I can do a video and separate those two out if you want, but what you're going to do is put yourself in their position, then you understand their motivations. Now, if you look at narcissistic personalities, those people are not good people. end of. But you start to understand the complexities on the way their mind works and what drives them in certain ways, etc. So you can either accept where you are or move on. The same goes for when you've got like what they call toxic bosses, because it could be different dimensions in it. And there's been a few people I've talked to lately about it and how they're impacted in their own work environment. And one of the things that's strong on this is the best thing you can do is to actually just plan an exit. Why? Well, they're not going to change. The chances of getting out of those positions are pretty slim. There's been a big leftist agenda that's caused a lot of this stuff. And on top of that, the drive may be something you're not seeing as well. So for example, downsizing local authorities. So you want to reduce the number of schools in a district or whatever. What's the best way of doing that? Than sabotaging the school. Put in some left-wing muppet that will turn around and be fixated on trying to create something that's delusional and just not going to work, driving out your good teachers, driving out all your good staff, dropping your student numbers, and then you've got two alternatives: close the school or emergency measures. Close the school, saves the local authority money. Now, there could be a big debate on bits and pieces behind that, on, well, does that actually benefit the school because you get paid per student, is that a central fund, etc, etc. I'm just putting, it could be something you're not seeing because you work in that environment. You know, you're working in your job, but that person is part of, say, a trust of, say, 12 schools. But he's under the local authority. The local authority have got a different agenda to the trust or whatever. There's often always something else going on. I remember a plumber, a failed plumber that became a health and safety guy. And his whole thing was to just be a nightmare on health and safety, creating issues that weren't really there all the time. And I spent a bit of time with him because once you actually, he stops seeing you as an enemy and the fact that you're just trying to manage projects and do construction, he calmed down a bit. Things didn't disappear, he still upset people when their contractors walk off site and you have to manage him very closely. But it all goes back to when he was an apprentice. Because one of the other guys on the same site was there, he'd been there for over 30 years, and says he left her one day. Why was that? Well, the guy that was training him used to lock him in the toilets at lunchtime. And there was one day the guy was taking the head off a hot water system and he flooded a corridor, and the guy ran away and never come back as an apprentice. The guy had an issue with the business. He went away for God knows how many years, worked elsewhere, and he come back as the health and safety guy. So he had an issue with trades because of somebody that was training him up over 20 years ago that wasn't even there anymore. That's what you've got to understand. A lot of this stuff is not in front of you, it's not you, it's stuff that's motivated them previously. Because now he feels empowered because he's got the health and safety. He signs off the rounds, he's in charge. And it's weird, but sometimes it's that simple. It's nothing to do with you at all. You've just been dragged into someone else's mess. But when you can't get to a position that you can win, and I say win in the sense of winning for me is going home without a headache, delivering the job I'm employed for, then it's time just to move on. The bit where Starmer's on about these legal actions against companies and stuff. Even that, I would say a lot of time you're wasting your time anyway. The time and energy and investment for you may not be worth your time a day. Because you're in a really bad workplace, the best environment is a new environment. That's end of. So I'd always say look at it logically. Is it going to work for you or not? If it's not, I wouldn't even bother. Another key one is we often undervalue ourselves. It often takes, like, say, somebody headhunting you saying, right, I've got this really new job, this suits you, I think you're the ideal person. Something that's actually giving you a positive. That may be the driver you need, but at the same time, remember to do the same yourself. Remember to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I work hard at this, I achieve this, I've got, you know, I'm better skilled, better qualified, whatever, than the person who's making your life hell. That's important because it means you can look at them and just go, idiot. Yes, some idiot employed them, and yes, this idiot's currently working with you, but this idiot is exiting because I'm not an idiot. And if you get to that point, you're in a very, very good space. In the same way, if you can't move on because you haven't got enough skills, get the bloody skills. It's as simple as that. What motivation do you need? You're in a position you don't want to be in. The only way you're going to move out of that is do something about it. But life will always throw knocks. So this is the thing, whether it's Trump, whether it's Labour, whether it's the EU and everything going left, and all in strange environments where we're not sure where anything's going. Just remember, there was always something going on. Whether it's the stuff going back to, you look at the 50s and 60s and how things were changing through then, or you go back to the 1940s and 30s, well, 1920s onwards, there's always been major issues in the world. We get through it. What you've got to decide is what getting through it looks like for you. Stressing about it, or starting to realise you just got to switch off for it and just focus on the good stuff. And it's like today we've got Spain with the football, so I'm going to be jumping in the shower shortly, go down to the plaza to watch Spain play. And I say Spain, not England. I'm not English, by the way, guys. People keep calling me English. I'm not English. I'm Scottish, Irish, a little hint of Denmark. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Be a good game. I don't normally watch football, to be fair, but I think Spain's been playing quite well. April loves the football, so downstairs I get to see it whether I like it or not. Beyond that, things are moving. I've got to admit, I'm going to start focusing more on my college course now because I need to wrap that up as soon as possible. So that'll give me back about 20 hours a week. But also I'm starting to do a bit more on developing the skill sets I've got with updates. Because I do a lot around asset management, but I'm starting to develop it with the ISOs and doing a lot more reading to develop cost modelling and other bits and pieces I'm not going to bore you to tears with. But anyway, guys, I think that'll do me for now. Got a sweat on, it's about 40 degrees in here. So take it easy and I'll speak to you soon. But don't let anybody grind you down. Keep it positive, keep moving forward. And if you ever get bored, drop us an email. Thanks for watching.